Good evening and welcome to the Connecticut Department of Transportation's Public Information Meeting for project number 0145-0107, the replacement of bridge number 07093, Interstate 84 over an unnamed brook in Union. My name is Susan Morno and I'm a project engineer with the Connecticut Department of Transportation. I would like to welcome everyone who's taken the time to tune in for tonight's presentation. We hope this will be informative and we're able to answer all your questions and concerns so that by the time we are done, you'll have a better understanding of our project. Available to those joining us tonight through Zoom is the option to view captions or subtitles. To turn on this feature, select the Show Captions button at the bottom of your screen, then select Speaking Language and select the desired language. Before I get into the presentation and introduce the project team, I would like to go over a few housekeeping items and explain tonight's format. Our presentation will last approximately 25 minutes and will include a description of the existing conditions, the purpose and need for the project, and our proposed design. Once the presentation is completed, we will host a live question and answer session. We would like you to know that no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project, and that there is a civil rights flyer available. The civil rights notice to the public is available at portal.ct.gov/dot/equity/title-VI. We would also greatly appreciate it if you could fill out the voluntary post-meeting survey for the Connecticut Department of Transportation. The results of this survey will help us improve this public meetings going forward. You can find the survey at portal.ct.gov/CTDOT survey or by scanning the QR code on the screen. The links to both the Civil Rights Flyer and the survey are located on the previously mentioned project webpage. This is the Title VI Notice to the Public in English. It describes the process to file a complaint with the Connecticut Department of Transportation. I will pause for a few moments so you have a chance to read the slide. Here is the same information in Spanish. I will pause for a few moments again so you have a chance to read the slide. You will have three means of communicating with us during the live Q&A session. The first is by sending an email to the project email address, which is dotproject.0145-0107@ct.gov. The second is by leaving a voicemail at 860-594-2020. Please note that we will be checking for emails and voicemails periodically during the presentation so that we can address your comments and answer your questions. Please also remember to leave contact information if you leave a voicemail so that we may reach out to you directly if for some reason we can't get back to you during the live question and answer session. You can ask questions or provide comments through December 23, 2025 via either email or telephone. I will go over the third option, the Zoom chat function, next. This function is only available during tonight's live Q&A session. A recording of tonight's entire presentation, including the Q&A session, will be stored on the project webpage. The webpage can be found at portal.ct.gov/DOTUNION0145-0107. Closed captioning, including non-English translations, will be available at that time. To ask a question or make a comment using the Zoom Q&A feature, click on the Q&A tool at the bottom of the Zoom webinar window. This will bring up the Zoom Q&A chat window. Type your question in the text box at the bottom. Once you have finished typing, you can hit send and the project team will see your question. On the screen, you will see your question and any other questions that have already been answered. Please note that even though you won't see them yet, the project team may have other questions to respond to and will respond to all questions in the order they are received. I would now like to introduce the project team. On the top row with the Connecticut Department of Transportation is Derek Lassard, Division Chief of Bridges. To the left of Derek is Greg Funk, the Principal Engineer of the Consultant Bridge Design, Consultant Liaison Engineering Program. On the bottom row is Brianna Rataco, Supervising Engineer in the CLE program. My photo is on the bottom left, and I'm a project engineer with the CLE program. BL Companies is the consultant liaison engineer on this project and will work with the Connecticut Department of Transportation to provide project oversight throughout the design and construction of the project. Sean Ladati is the program manager for BL, and his photo is the first on the top row. To the right of him, Jennifer Usher is the program advisor, and she will be the MC for the Q&A session of tonight's presentation. On the bottom row, Julie Shembry is the liaison engineer from BL. Julie will follow me and go into more detail about the project. McFarland Johnson is a design consultant on this project. On the left, Gene McCarthy is the lead highway engineer for McFarland Johnson. And to the right is David Cull, the lead bridge engineer for MJ. You will hear from both Gene and Dave this evening as they discuss the proposed structure. Thank you for bearing with me while I went over the ground rules. Now I will hand things over to Julie, who will start getting into the project-specific information.
Thanks, Susan. Good evening, everyone. My name is Julie Shembry, and as Susan mentioned, I'm a liaison engineer with BL Companies. Tonight, I'll be taking you through the existing conditions of bridge number 07093. On the screen, you will see a map showing the location of our project. Bridge number 07093, of which conveys Interstate 84 over an unnamed brook in the town of Union. The structure is located approximately 0.24 miles northeast of the Barrows Road intersection with Buckley Highway, Route 190. On this slide is an aerial photo of the project location, again showing our bridge number 07093, of which carries Interstate 84 over an unnamed brook. During this presentation, you may hear terms that aren't familiar. On this slide, we show the typical bridge components of a culvert. Culverts convey the flow of water beneath the roadway. Connecticut DOT considers any culvert 6 feet in diameter and larger a bridge. At the high point of the culvert is the inlet, where the water enters the culvert, and the outlet is where the water drains out, which is also the lowest point in the culvert. Head walls and end walls provide strength and stability to the entire structure, whereas the wing walls help guide and direct the water into the inlet or out into the waterway. Every 2 years, Connecticut DOT inspects all bridges with a span length greater than 20 feet, in accordance with federal standards. Connecticut DOT then compiles a report that includes condition ratings and any noted deficiencies. So back to our structure. Our existing structure was constructed in 1985. It consists of 3 216-foot long 72-inch by 42-inch asphalt-coated corrugated metal pipe arch culverts that are beneath approximately 2 to 4 feet of fill material. The photo on this page is of the inlet of the structure. In this area of Interstate 84, the roadway consists of 3 lanes in each direction and the average daily traffic of 48,200 vehicles per day. On this slide, we're showing a few pictures of the existing structure. The top left photo is a picture of the channel looking upstream. The top right photo is the inlet elevation. The bottom left photo is the outlet elevation, and the bottom right photo is a picture of the channel looking downstream. The purpose and need of this project is to address the structural deficiencies of the existing structure. As mentioned previously, bridges in the state of Connecticut are inspected every 2 years at a minimum. Per the most recent inspection report of bridge number 07093, the culvert was classified as being in poor condition. This is due to the loss of coating inside the pipes with light to laminated rust throughout, as well as some section loss. Several joints were observed to be misaligned by up to 2 inches, with isolated rust holes throughout. I will now pass it to David Cole with McFarland Johnson to go through the proposed replacement.
Thanks, Julie. So after a study, what we've come up with a plan to do is we're going to replace the three corrugated metal pipe structures with a single precast concrete box culvert. It'll be basically a 4 square box culvert measuring 20 foot in width that's 7 feet high. That's been sized to carry all the design flow from the unnamed brook that would be passing underneath I-84. We're going to be placing this culvert pretty much where the existing pipes are, but it's going to be offset just slightly so that we can use the existing pipes as a water control feature to help facilitate what we're going to be doing during construction as we go in and replace the existing pipes. So if we take a look at the next slide, this is a longitudinal view of what the structure is going to look like underneath I-84. There's a lot of different callouts on here. The main thing to recognize is that what we see when we're driving on I-84 is not going to change when we're finished with construction. This new structure designed to last 75 years will pass underneath the roadway, and what you see on top of the roadway pretty much isn't going to change from what you see right now. When we take a look at the inlet elevation view here, what this is basically showing is a good comparison of what the proposed structure looks like, the 20 by 7 foot concrete box culvert. And what it looks like on the right-hand side there, if you look, you can see an oval shape. That's one of the three pipe structures that we have. So you can see it's quite a bit larger. And that's on purpose. It's designed to carry current and future design storms. We're also putting in concrete head walls and cutoff walls and wing walls at the end. As Julie mentioned, that's helped to convey water as it flows through the proposed structure. There will be 2 feet of natural stream bed material on here that helps for the permitting and for aquatic passage of different species that will be going underneath the structure. So like I said, this is designed to last 75 years, and it's going to be pretty much as you see right now when you're driving underneath I-84. So if we go to the next slide. So how are we going to build this structure while maintaining traffic flow? I'm going to pass it over to Gene McCarthy. He's going to talk about maintenance of traffic during construction.
Great. Thanks, Dave. So in order to replace this culvert at this location, we're going to have to maintain the traffic both on Interstate 84 and Exit 73. So what we're proposing to do is to replace it in 3 stages and essentially replace the culvert in 3 pieces. Important to note, so as said earlier, Interstate 84 has 3 lanes of traffic in each direction, and we will be modifying that during these stages of construction. So the first overall view for stage 1 shows that we'll start on the eastern part of the project. You can see the area that's kind of hatched in yellow. That's the work zone that will be utilized for the culvert. What stage 1 will require, though, is that the eastbound lanes on Interstate 84 will have to be reduced from 3 to 2. And those lanes will be shifted towards the median of 84 in order to provide space for the construction to occur. As we look at a closer view, you will see the actual proposed structure that will be replaced as part of stage 1. You will see in green, that is some temporary widening that will occur on the median of 84, and you'll see the 2 lanes of traffic on 84. In sort of an orange color is a temporary concrete barrier that provides protection for both motorists and the construction crews. And it's important to note that this stage of construction is estimated to take about 2 to 3 months to complete. As we move into, oh, I'm sorry, can you go back one? I'm sorry. Other important thing to note here is that for stage 1, the exit 73 on-ramp onto the eastbound part of 84 will have to be closed during stage 1. There will be a detour set up for this traffic, and I will show that detour at the end of my presentation. So for stage 2, again, we'll now focus on the median of Interstate 84, and that's where a large portion of the culvert will be replaced in the median. Now, in this stage, both westbound and eastbound 84 will be reduced from 3 lanes to 2 lanes. And you can see that again, where they're both moved to the outside, and that opens up the space in the middle for the work zone. And as we move to the more close view, you'll see that we're replacing a good section of that pipe in the median. We've provided those temporary barriers to protect traffic and the workers. In addition to closing the eastbound on-ramp for stage 2, the westbound off-ramp will also need to be closed. And again, I will show the detour for that traffic at the end of my presentation. Now, this stage of construction, because it's going to replace a larger piece of the culvert, is estimated to take between 4 and 5 months to complete. So the final stage will do the more western piece of the culvert. The eastbound section of 84 will actually be restored to its current and its permanent configuration. The eastbound on-ramp actually will be opened up again during this stage. The westbound off-ramp will remain closed. If you go to the more close-up, you'll see that last piece of the culvert will be replaced. This does, again, require a little bit of widening in the median to accommodate the construction. Again, the concrete barrier will protect the workers and traffic. And this stage is also anticipated to take about 2 to 3 months to complete. So for the detours, as stated, for stages 1 and 2, the eastbound on-ramp at exit 73 will be closed. The detour route will be signed, and we'll direct those motorists to stay on Route 190, Buckley Highway, and we'll direct them to Route 89, which will then direct them to exit 72, where they can enter 84 eastbound. This detour is about 3.1 miles in length. The detour for the westbound off-ramp, again, this will occur during stages 2 and 3. This traffic that is on 84 will be directed to stay on 84, continue down to exit 72, get off, use Route 89 and 170 to get back to the Buckley Highway. This overall detour is about 3.3 miles in length. And with that, I will turn it back over to Julie.
Thank you, Gene. So now we'll take a look at the utility, permitting, and right-of-way needs of the project. Utility impacts are anticipated to construct the new structure. The existing telecommunications and electric duct banks are expected to be supported in place during construction. No aerial utilities are present in the area. Moving on to environmental permits, the project will require 3 permits: the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers pre-construction notification, Connecticut Deep pre-construction notification, and the Connecticut Deep Inland Wetlands and Watercourse permit. Additionally, the Section 106 process has been completed and no historic properties will be affected. Finally, for right-of-way impacts, no impacts are anticipated. These items represent the major utility, environmental, and right-of-way considerations that will guide the design and coordination efforts moving forward. I will now pass it back to Susan Morneau with the Connecticut DOT to go through the construction costs, funding, and project schedule.
Thank you, Julie. This next slide shows our estimated project cost and schedule. Please note that these are preliminary and subject to change. We are currently estimating a construction cost of approximately $7.2 million, which will be paid for with 80% federal and 20% state funds. No funding is anticipated from the town of Union at this time. Construction is also currently anticipated to begin in the spring of 2029 and be complete in the fall of that same year. We will refine this schedule as the design progresses. This concludes the formal presentation portion of tonight's presentation. At this point, I will turn things over to Jennifer Usher of BL Companies, who will be the MC for the question and answer portion of tonight's presentation.
Thank you, Susan. As Susan mentioned, my name is Jennifer Usher, and I'm with BL Companies. And tonight I will serve as your MC for our Q&A session, which we will get started momentarily. Would just like to thank everyone, or take a moment to thank everyone for attending tonight's presentation. Really, the purpose of this meeting is to provide the public with an opportunity to ask questions as well as relay any concerns that they may have. That being said, there are a couple different ways that you can get in touch with us this evening. You'll see up there on your screen. The first is going to be by email. If you do send an email to this address, we will try to answer it this evening if we're able to see it. But that actually will be open for another 2 weeks until December 23rd. So should you have a question or comment following tonight's presentation, you're certainly welcome to use that form of communication. The second form of communication, which will also be open until December 23rd, is by phone, and you can dial 860-594-2020 and leave a voicemail. We do ask that you reference Project 145-107 in your message. It will just help to ensure that it gets to the correct project team. And then obviously, if you've joined us this evening, you can use the Q&A chat, as Susan mentioned earlier. And then finally, if you are looking for more information regarding the project, we would encourage you to visit the project webpage. The email, as well as the phone number and project webpage, have all been put into the chat. And so with that, I'm going to open up our Q&A session, and we'll see if we have any questions that have come in so far. And it doesn't look like we have any open questions, but let's give everyone a minute. This is a pretty straightforward project, so I'm not expecting a whole lot of questions, but certainly want to provide the public with that opportunity. One other thing that I will note, and I believe Susan had mentioned earlier on in her presentation, was that we are asking those in attendance tonight if they can take just a few more minutes following this presentation to fill out a short post-meeting survey. We would greatly appreciate that. I'll actually just put that in the webinar chat right now because I don't think I had entered it earlier. So hopefully everyone can see that, and you can just click on that link, and it'll just, like I said, bring you to a really short survey, ask you just a couple questions about how tonight's presentation was. We're just looking to make sure that it's informative, it's giving the information you're looking for, and again, giving you that opportunity to talk with the project team. So if there's anything we can do to make these presentations better, or if there's information that wasn't provided that you might be looking for, by all means, please let us know in that survey, because those will be used to improve the presentations we do moving forward. There's usually probably about 1 to 2 of these presentations, believe it or not, that are happening each week. So, all right, I'm just going to pause for a second so I can check with the project team to see if we have any voicemails or emails that have come in. And I don't see any. All right, and nothing is coming through the Zoom Q&A as well. So my guess is that we did a pretty good job answering any questions that people may have had. But let's see, just see if anyone has any other questions. All right, I'll ask the project team. Yeah, oh, actually, it looks like you guys are going to do that. All right, so just again, want to make sure we're checking that voicemail as well as that email to see what else is going on. And Julie, maybe you could share just an overall plan, or perhaps maybe the detour plan just for the audience, because I think that's probably going to be the major impact to the public for this project, is going to be just closing these 2 exits and having to do that detour, as Jean McCarthy was explaining with McFarland Johnson. So I will say that the project team did look at several scenarios, and really the goal is to obviously replace the existing structure to make it safe, make it hydraulically adequate. But in addition to that, we want to do it in such a way where we are hopefully minimizing the cost as well as the impacts overall to the traveling public. So one thing that we are doing is by using what we call ABC, or accelerated bridge construction methods. This project can be done, excuse me, fairly quickly, which makes the detour time kind of minimized for the amount of time that the detours will need to be used. So that's not always available to us to be able to use those ABC methodologies. But in this case, we kind of lucked out and we were able to implement them, and that will reduce that overall detour time or the impacts that we'll have to the traveling public. All right, and with that, I'll just see, do we have any voicemail or emails? It does not look like we have any. So again, I think we did a good job in the presentation is what I'm seeing, hopefully, but I want to give everyone enough time. And I'll just again remind everyone that might be with us this evening. Once again, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. We really do appreciate it, and would even more appreciate it if you could just take a couple minutes to do that post-meeting survey. It really does help us out a lot. So, but understand that your time is valuable. So again, thank you for joining us. And let's see. No, it doesn't look like we have anything coming in. I'll probably give it like just one more minute or something, but it doesn't seem like if we have any questions or comments, we'll probably just be able to wrap this up. But again, as a reminder, the email and the voicemail will be open until December 23rd, which is 2 weeks from today. So by all means, if you have attended this meeting and you're with us this evening and you should have a question or a comment, please use either of those communication means to get in touch with the project team. If you have neighbors who are also interested in the project who maybe weren't able to attend this evening's meeting, please, if you don't mind, just relaying that information to them should they have any questions or comments. This is really an important part of the project for Connecticut DOT as well as the designer to ensure that we're getting those comments and concerns fully vetted through because we are really in the preliminary stages of design. So this is kind of the best time to do it. So if you have anything, this would be the time to speak up so we can get those considerations underway before we really move into final design. All right. Well, it doesn't look like we have any voicemail or email, so I think that we're going to call that a wrap. So again, thank you everyone for joining us this evening. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful evening, and we're looking forward to bringing this project to a successful completion and construction.